Hello, John Span here, the treasure hunter. I think it's time I let you know who I am, a little bit about my past. My formal education began at a college prep military school located in Carlsbad, California. I went there for 4 years. During my junior year, the instructor who came from West Point approached me and asked me if I wanted to go, that he could make it happen if I wanted to attend West Point. I asked him what I have to do. He tells me I have to graduate my last year at the academy and then show up at the doorstep, and my name would be on the door and come right in. Then he tells me they're gonna give me the finest education that anybody could get in this country. But then afterwards I would have to serve 4 years. I asked, what if I want to go into a private practice, be an attorney, or be a doctor or whatever, and serving it wouldn't be in the agenda. And he goes, you have to do it. And I go, well, thank you, but no thanks. I'm a senior now, and I'm in football, 3-year varsity letterman. I'm captain of the football team, most valuable player. I play offense and defense. My GPA is 3.85. I took over the school basically with my leadership skills. I was called out of my classroom to the president's office, and he hands me an envelope. He goes, do you know who this is? I opened the envelope. It said the White House across the top of the letter. Down at the bottom was Jimmy Carter's signature. He was offering me a position that he thought my skills in leadership would be good at the Naval Academy where he attended. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps. He told me that the rewards would be great and the sacrifices that would have to be made. And after graduation, I would only have to serve 2 years of service. Boy, I said thank you. It took me an hour in my room. I paced back and forth. I finally burned the letter. Anybody saw that letter, I was going for the next 6 years to Annapolis. A week away from graduating, I think. I'm in the clear of I called the president's office again. Tall gentleman with glasses was standing at the front door. He goes, are you John Span? I go, yes, I am. He goes, you're going on a field trip with me. Well, we get in, fly to the Air Force Academy in Colorado. Dean's taking a tour, me in the science department, math department, just introducing me to people. And he asked me, John, do you think I would be up for this type of a challenge? I said, sure, no disrespect, but I could do this with my eyes closed going backward. I have just come from a military school. You want me to do it again? As I have no problem in doing it again. We're in his office. The phone rings and he looks at me before he answers. He goes, John, the phone call's for you. He puts it, it's the president, and hello, John, Jimmy Carter, your commander-in-chief. I remember so clearly. He was offering me something that had never been offered before. 4 years at any military institution I wanted, and I wouldn't have to serve any years afterwards, that they would be confident that I would serve in the military after graduation. And they were probably right. But at the age of 18, nobody told me if you keep on going up in an airplane up and down, your air sickness goes away. Because I got air sickness on the way to flying there. Because he was doing some maneuvers on that jet were quite impressive. But then I graduated. I got a degree in dental technology in the field of dentistry. I had opened a laboratory for 20 years. I had some inventions. that caught the eye of a multi-billion-dollar company called Kyocera. They liked my ideas, and I granted them exclusivity. I was the manufacturer, and they were my distributor. The day of signing those contracts with Kyocera was quite an experience. I arrived at 8 o'clock there. I signed two documents in a room that had 30 chairs around a table. 10 o'clock, the first gentleman comes in, he signs the contract, and they're in the room and it's loud, they're making noise, it's a party going on next door. Well, the second one comes in at noon, and then the thing is going to be catered, but we have to go through Jack in the Box, arrive back at waiting. Third gentleman comes in at 3:15. 5 minutes before 5, all 4 of them come in. They sign the contracts, and he looks up at me and he goes, "You pass. Now we go to dinner," he said. Well, we went to Benihana's, big sign across the front. Benihana's closed. They bought the entire Benihana's for the night. We go into a room, U-shaped tables. 4 corporate heads sat at one end. My attorney and I sat at the other. Each of them brought their 4 attorneys, plus 4 attorneys from the implant division department of Kyocera. Afterwards, 10 o'clock, I couldn't get out the door. The Benihana lost their liquor license, and the liquor license was sold by somebody else. And so that was open. There were so many people, I couldn't barely make it out of the door. Getting out of the door to the limousine, driving out, I saw every car had a different news station on it. Both sides of the road. Somebody coming down that road, somebody was backing up because it was 2 rows of cars all the way to the freeway. I was able to get an education through other individuals that were on the circuit. I flew around with them to different trade shows, promoting my product and learning about implants, and implants were in their infancy state, giving them the knowledge when I came back to the dental society meetings of what I learned. I made a good team approach to dentistry in that structure that needed to be structurized in implants. Well, my home was in Carmel Valley. I had a 5-bedroom, 3-car garage home. And my office, I could throw a rock and hit the middle of the racetrack in Del Mar. So when the races came about, I would always go over and dabble a little bit. But I summed up my competition of gray-haired men flipping pages. So I got a Tandy computer, GW Basic, and wrote a program that I was able to have fun with and, win at the races. In '95, the internet came alive and I was able to download the information, because it used to take me 1 hour a race, 8 races a day. That's solid 8 hours of inputting. Now I could do in 1 hour the entire northern hemisphere. I called a few buddies and told them, come and take my laboratory away. My field of dentistry now is stopping. I'm into another field. I was in that field for about 3 months, where they took some of my winning wagering tickets. They seized them. They thought I didn't earn them. I took a $120,000 note out of my house, and in 3 months, I had totaled $1.3 million. But because of an investigation that the betting public isn't safe, I chose not to go any farther in that field. I have 4 wonderful boys that I raised myself that I'm very proud of. I have an amputation on my right leg. During a hunting accident, I kicked a porcupine. I have diabetes. My lungs are compromised. The week that I put in to file BLM land management, the senior head geologist is going to take me for a ride and get the correct GPS coordinates to fill out the permits, because he was the one that was going to approve them. I arrived dead on arrival at Grossmont Hospital. That was in 2015. Since then, I've been in the hospital fighting some lung infections, and I just came from 3 days ago the IC unit at Grossmont for a lung infection. It's time to get this word out. I'm in a situation that funding is necessary. I'm hoping to grant exclusivity for $1 million or $10,000 for 1% of my business. I believe the business within 2 to 3 years will be a $250 million. That's what I've seen. That's what I know is out there. Now I've uncovered treasure boxes and treasure vaults that have not been opened. That I believe the large stuff is going to be in there. Cortez, when he was here, the king never came to. He thought that the king would be behind him in collecting everything, but they never came. So it's been waiting, and now I found it, and now the world is going to know about it. I have more. Stay tuned.